so it's different.
Well, out of the culture that he studied, I mean, were any of them indigenous cultures? Because I would say that that would be a very big factor as opposed to studying like industrialized.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
There's
if I were to see the data on strictly indigenous cultures who were not, you know, didn't have any clue about technology or whatever, I don't know. I would probably more than likely go just without the data alone and think more gender. But if you know, the more industrialized the society, then I'd probably go with
But the indigenous cultures are also going to have a culture, a time period. They're going to have material aspects of their culture. They're also going to be subject to influences. So it's not as if they're some pure, pristine, untouched people. They have a culture.
What if you have a culture that promoted like strict, like evolutionary biology from the beginning? Then wouldn't that?
Even the thoughts out of evolutionary biology have shifted in the past 150 years. It is the nuances and details are still being worked out. So I would argue that, because remember let's go late 1800s Britain. How was evolutionary biology playing out then? It was playing out, well, we should let the poor people die because, well, you know, they make the society better fit, or we should force sterilize people. So eugenics. So that was how that idea was playing out, but it's playing out in a different way in our culture now. So I would argue it depends on how it's playing out, even in evolutionary biology-based culture.
I've heard in an article where in our culture there's like couple mating companies. It's actually like a company where you have to put in like something like an application. And for males, they rate profession out of 10, but they rate like height and that kind of out of 5. So that's which is rated less. And but for females, like you're rated like your height and your like age. That's counted over 10 instead of your profession, which is like a little less than 10.
Yeah, I mean, so you argue
and they're
that
like graded out a total of 100 points. You're like 80, and then they're like the male, which is like 90, and then they rate like the best couples and that kind of stuff. So
what was this company called?
There's a lot in our culture where you,
like, is it
because
something
they want
like
to get like
eHarmony
married.
or?
They're looking for like a mate, not like to date. It's they're looking for like a mate. So you actually have to. There's like fees and stuff like that too.
So, so their general finding is they're fitting a Bates idea, a bus idea, or sorry, Bateman, not Bates. Like I'm trying to see how your variables all played out.
I guess this kind of goes with buses because it's like in our culture, when you're, well, they're actually looking for like someone to marry, and those companies that get those requests, they rate males higher on profession rather than their age or attractiveness. The females rate the males higher, or the company rates? The company rates males higher than like their age and their height, where for females, that counts more. Like what's physical counts more.
If it's the company doing it, the company may be applying a rule. What's a student and I a couple years ago did this with Match.com. We went, well, what did the people actually put on their Match.com profiles? But even that's kind of difficult because those are people from one culture who have been told, is she cute? Does he have a job? Those kinds of things. So what we really need is to take a broad perspective, because any person in our culture has been influenced for 20 years with, does he have a job? Is she cute? So we need a lot of naturalistic, real world, what are people really looking for? Not a shopping list, right? If you ask me my shopping list of what I'm looking for, you know, I got my shopping list. But when I actually go and pick my mate, do those rank, you know, does that play out in the actual choices I make? You see so we have a whole series of issues that different areas are going to have to get involved. There's my shopping list, right, would be, what am I looking for? Well, you know, she would have to be 8 feet tall, long, you know, whatever. I don't know why she's 8 feet, but you know, tall. I was like, that's an unusual height for me to pick, right? Versus when I go and actually pick a mate, that sounds so weird. Mini, mighty, mo, right? do I rate that trait as much as important? So we're going to need cross-cultural data on both of those questions and see which is the biggest predictor, faith or culture. And knowing that the company though is in a culture applying rules that our culture believes are true, which may not actually be true.
Well, I feel like they probably rate the males higher on occupation because males make more money, so therefore it's going to be more important.
Yeah, so that may be,
Yeah.
that's certainly going to be a factor, and we go, well, in cultures where females, or even in our culture where the female income rates are rising, we might see that variable go away too. So my money's on culture.
Maybe it's a gene environment interaction.
That's easy to say. It's like,
I mean, honestly.
but I want to know which one's going to win the day. So, all right, so what I want to do here in the last few minutes is see if I can pull some of this together to see what's going to be our biggest predictor. So I'm going to start looking at culture and gender and mating. We're going to start families. Well, not class, not going to start a family. We're going to start discussing family. It's always weird to say sentences like that. One of the things that happens, so you're right, when we're born, we look pretty similar. Male and female babies look pretty similar, but from the moment we pop out of our mother's womb, and I know it's not as simple as popping out of a womb, cultures engage in what we can call gender polarization. We start pushing the genders down different pathways. So even though little babies don't look particularly masculine or feminine, so we have two little babies, I'll let y'all ooh and ah. Aw, thank you. I don't know why. Your textbook contains no pictures like this, but seriously, like the images they sent to me to use were all pictures of these two kids. And I'm like, all right, I don't know who they are, but well, you'll use them, right? If I were to go, which one is the male? A is left and B is right. Which one's the male? A is left, B is right.
Are they both? Is that
No, one of them, they're two different genders. Oh, sorry. Left, right. A, B. Which one is the male?
This one.
Go 5, 4, 3. Oh, I was hoping to get 50-50. Y'all are actually 2/3. Y'all think the one on the right is? I have to figure out which one it is. I don't know which one it is. Y'all think it's the one on the right? We'll find out if y'all are correct. I have to look. I don't know which one it is. I should have looked that up ahead of time. My bad. At least in the picture they give me, the one on the left is. But I don't know if that's the same baby. I didn't do enough research.
It looks like the same baby.
Yeah, it is the same.
It is.
Haha, y'all are wrong. It's the same. They look like it. Okay, so.
I think those are gators.
Oh, right. So y'all are wrong. It's the one on the left, not the one on the right. There you go. I just want you to know how wrong y'all are. All right. What do we do immediately? So immediately, what do we do that gender polarizes the sexes? Put them in pink or blue, which is not a universal, by the way. What else do we do that immediately gender polarizes?
The way that we talk to them changes.
Names. Names. That is a massive gender polarization. We're going to see the way we talk to kids too is also going to be a factor. Like, if there's a situation, I might ask the little girl, are you nervous? And the little boy, I might go, are you excited? Right? And so that's a slightly different thing going on here. So clothing is a way, names are a way, right? Our names are gendered. That's a little weird thing to think of.
Wait, so gender, the two genders react differently to different words?
No, it's if I ask you, if I were to go, hey, are you nervous? I'm tapping into one set of things. But if I ask, are you excited? I'm tapping into another set of things.
But would the female think that the definition or the feeling for excited is actually nervous?
No. It's okay. So remember, with my words, I norm with my words. So if there's an event, a novel event, and I ask the female characteristically, are you nervous? I'm norming that nervous is what is appropriate for you to feel versus excited. Well, you know, if I keep labeling the novel as nervous, that's going to have, that potentially could have different effects we're going to see down the line versus like, hey, are you excited? You know, that could have different effects. So it's the language as a norming function. It's not that they think about the words differently. It's that they characteristically label the events differently. So, and we do find that people speak differently of little boys and girls. There are some predictor variables, and I want to start at least this, that seem to play out across cultures. There's some issues here, but I at least want to start introducing some variables that allow us to predict ways in which people engage in gender polarization. One of them involves this phenomenon called neoteny, to look new, to look like a baby, or baby faceness. And one argument that is often offered is that many cultures, our own included, have one gender that they emphasize the neotenous traits of. So these neotenous traits could be larger eyes. So in females, do we emphasize larger eyes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. That's perfect, good variable. Prominent cheeks. Yeah, right. Blush. Blush actually serves multiple functions. Blush also indicates mild sexual arousal. So we're basically, when you put a blush, you're basically saying I'm turned on. I do what I can, you know. So here's how neoteny looks in several species. So I don't know of any species. I don't know of anyone who emphasizes the limbs other than legs, which is sort of counter to this in many ways. But to see how we respond to neoteny, I'll just give you a picture. Oh. See? Automatic, man. Right? We automatically respond. What? It is cute. I mean, you like grudgingly are going to, I'll give you that one's cute, right? So, one argument.
That is so adorable.
One argument offered is that one of the ways that we gender polarize is that we encourage one member of our species to look more neotenous. And what I'm going to do in the next lecture is show you some ways that we go through almost from head to toe the male and female bodies and polarize them. So, head hair. How do we polarize the genders on head hair? Length. Also, color is another way we do this, right? You think, well, all right, I'm going gray as the woman who cuts my hair, Donna Gillis. I'm going to give her a shout out here. She tells me every time. She's like, I hate your beard. You're going gray. She has a weird voice. Right? And I'm like, but you're not gray because she dyes her hair, right? That is totally acceptable, right? If you're a female to dye your hair, and it seems still a little vain. I'm not there. You're like, no, you're going to do it? Body hair, right? So males, we accent this difference between having facial hair. Many females naturally have facial hair, and what do we as a society say? No. Pubic hair, believe it or not, women are actually not born with pubic hair, but develop pubic hair. That'd be weird if they were born with it. Yeah, that would be really weird. But what do we say? Women naturally have pubic hair is all I was going to say. It's a weird sentence that I've never said. But what do we in our culture tell them to do? Wax it. Yeah. Even if you don't wax it, we do say trim. Yeah. Eyes, we've already done eyes. Lips. Do we emphasize any sex differences with lips?
Yeah, girls with bigger lips.
What?
Girls with bigger lips.
Thicker lips.
Like we thick lips, or as one of my friends has this lip stuff, buxom lips, and I'm like, all right, buxom. Skin, we're gonna look at some skin differences here. One sex we tend to expect to have more neotenous, soft, smooth skin. Guess which one it is. Hands, there are some gender differences in the hands. Genitalia. This is a waist-hip ratio. This is we're going to see this there with nails. Do we have
like
lips?
Goldberg.
Yeah.
I know it does seem like a lot of this burden is on females, which makes me ask this question about Bateman, right? There's some gender differences in shoulders, arms, and what I want to do is go, what are ways in which our culture takes bodies that are very, very similar and polarizes them? We're going to see that on Friday.
So everything else is like
I'm going to add more to this list.